Hey guys, this is my daughter Kelsey, and she healed from mold illness after being completely disabled. All right, she had seizures, her eyes were crossing, she was itching herself till she bled, she was convulsing in her sleep, she had food sensitivities, her throat was closing in the presence of any of these chemical smells. I mean, she was literally a wreck. Her stomach was unable to break down protein. She was having stomach issues, couldn't go to the bathroom more than once or twice a week. I could go on for 3 more minutes about all of her symptoms, but the reality was none of the doctors knew what was going on at all. We went to 30, 40 doctors, and usually, the traditional doctors can't do anything for you anyways. So, we weren't extremely surprised, but eventually we realized it was something called mycotoxin sensitivity, okay? And this is not just mold illness. This means that that she was ultra sensitive to mold toxins, okay? And when her body would be exposed to this, it would create a really strong reaction that would cause her immune reactions. And then I couldn't even give her any supplements because she reacted to every single supplement. I couldn't give her meat because she would go into like autistic episodes and staring at me from 10 feet away and flushing and hitting me and things like that. And it was unbelievable. So I was kind of cornered, and I didn't realize what I could do to get her out of that. But eventually I realized it was what was in the air that was making her sick. And the way I realized is I put her into school, and she would come back and she would look worse after I'd pick her up from school. And by the end of the week, she was wrecked, right? And the reality is I started to see, wow, maybe it's something that's in the air. And then we went on vacation for, I think it was 10 days, and all of a sudden her face started to blush less. She started to react less to food. She seemed to be, her breathing better. Her eczema started to flare down. I said, what the heck? And then we got back, and guess what? Bam, everything got so bad. Immediately, asthma got worse. Eyes were crossing. She was convulsing in her sleep again. She's reacting to foods. Her face is blushing, all these things. And I realized it is really what's in the air. So if you have a child that is dealing with chronic health issues, okay, you have to ask yourself, what is in the air? I've spoken to lots of parents. I've worked with lots of parents who've been able to improve their child's health by simply improving air quality, okay? It's the biggest thing of all. I tried to change the diet. I tried to give her supplements. I tried everything. We tried every doctor under the sun, and none of it would work because we were living in mold, right, Kelsey?
Yep.
And that's the reality of it. So if you're trying to heal yourself, you're trying to heal your family, you got to ask yourself what's in the air. And the way to be able to test this is go to mymycolab.com, okay, and get the blood test. And it's $400. It's worth every penny. If you don't want to spend the $400 on that, then you do a simple Petri dish test at home. But make sure you leave the Petri dish test, the mold test, indoor mold test out for like 8 hours. Move it around a bunch. Go to Amazon at Mold Armor, and you'll be able to buy these mold armor kits. You could buy 12 of the indoor mold testing kits for less than $30 in a pack, and go look into it. Leave it out for 8 hours, move it a bunch, let it sit for 5 days in a dark room, and then take pictures and run it through AI, and you could at least see there's mold in your home. But the My Mycolab test is the one that is most definitive. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.